The 5 levels of industry plant. They didn't want you to know this, but I'm about to expose one of the biggest lies in the music industry. You think your favorite artist blew up because of talent hustle or luck? Think again. There are levels to being an industry plant, from fake indie underdogs to superstar robots built in corporate labs. Fame isn't always discovered. Sometimes it's manufactured. And once you see how deep this goes, you'll never listen to music the same way again. Before we dive in, smash that like button, subscribe to Legends of Black Excellence, and turn on notifications, because this video might just change everything you thought you knew. Level 1. The organic plant. Level 1. The organic plant is the most dangerous and convincing form of manufactured success because it looks completely authentic. These artists appear humble, quirky, and self-made. They sing about pain, post low-budget videos, and talk about recording in their bedroom. Fans fall in love with the underdog narrative. They came from nothing and made it. But beneath the relatable image is a sophisticated machine of managers, industry families, and label guidance that shaped their rise long before the public even heard their names. This level is powerful because it sells the illusion of independence while secretly benefiting from privilege. Billie Eilish is the textbook example of an organic plant. When Ocean Eyes went viral in 2015, the story was that she uploaded it just for fun. In reality, her brother Finneas had already been working as a professional songwriter and producer. He had management and industry connections. Their mother was an actress and their father played in bands. They lived in Los Angeles, surrounded by entertainment insiders. Even homeschooling Billie was a strategic decision to focus on her music career. Before the public discovered her, Interscope Records was already preparing a rollout. The DIY bedroom pop star narrative was marketing genius, not the full truth. Finneas O'Connell is the hidden key. Long before Billie became a global icon, Finneas had written for artists and had a manager making him familiar with how the machine operates. When Ocean Eyes was released, he didn't just post it randomly. It was sent directly to industry contacts. Their team included Danny Rukasin, a well-connected manager, and Brandon Goodman, who managed Fall Out Boy. These connections positioned Billie for success that most indie artists could never access. The industry didn't stumble upon her, it was introduced to her with precision. But Billie wasn't the first. H.E.R. was marketed as a mysterious hidden gem, a faceless voice who emerged from the shadows. Fans thought she was a brand new discovery. In truth, Gabriella Wilson was a child prodigy who appeared on The Today Show at age 10, signed with Sony at age 14, and performed alongside Alicia Keys before releasing her debut project. Her father, a musician, guided her every step. The anonymous R&B genius identity wasn't an accident, it was a label-created strategy to reinvent her and manufacture intrigue. Olivia Rodrigo is another organic success, or so it seemed. Driver's License exploded in 2021, and the internet treated her like a breakout newcomer. But Olivia had already been a Disney Channel star since age 12, appearing in Bizaardvark and High School Musical, The Series. She was signed to Geffen Records, a division of Universal Music Group, before releasing her first single. When her song broke streaming records, over 76 million plays in its first week, it wasn't luck. It was the result of a massive label campaign disguised as a teenage heartbreak story. Then there's Bruno Mars, one of the most versatile performers of his generation. People were stunned by his overnight success in 2010. They didn't know that at age 4 he was already impersonating Elvis on national television. His father was a Latin percussionist. His mother was a singer. He performed in family bands, grew up around live music, and had access to stages most struggling artists only dream of. By the time Just the Way You Are topped charts, Bruno had spent years writing for other stars and networking in Los Angeles. His rise wasn't sudden, it was systematically built. What makes Level 1 so effective is the balance between authenticity and advantage. These artists are talented, nobody denies that. They work hard. They may even experience setbacks. But unlike truly independent musicians, they start the race miles ahead. They have studio access, guidance, legal protection, financial backing, and most importantly, industry knowledge. Labels don't create their art. Labels create their narrative. Bedroom artist, small-town dreamer, heartbroken teenager. These stories build emotional connection and drive loyalty. The psychology behind this level is simple. Fans want to believe in the dream. People crave the idea that anyone can rise from obscurity to superstardom. It gives them hope. It makes the artist feel relatable and pure. That's why Level 1 is the smartest and most manipulative version of the industry plant. It hides privilege behind vulnerability, power behind innocence, and strategy behind chaos. The audience thinks they found the artist. But the truth is, the industry planted the seed long before the world started listening. Level 2. The obvious plant. Level 2. The obvious plant is where the illusion starts to crack. Unlike Level 1, these artists don't even bother pretending to be underground. They appear out of thin air one day, nobody knows their name. The next day they're on every playlist, Billboard TV performance, and major festival before they have a real fan base. Their music is suddenly recommended everywhere. Their videos explode with suspiciously high views, and they get prime collaborations without earning organic buzz. This level isn't subtle. It feels forced, artificial, and calculated. Fans don't feel like they discovered the artist is aggressively placed in front of them until they surrender. Ice Spice is the modern poster child for the obvious plant. She dropped Munch in August 2022 as a complete unknown. Within 3 months, she was being called the Princess of Rap. By early 2023, she was performing at the BET Awards, sitting front row at Fashion Week, collaborating with Nicki Minaj, Taylor Swift, and Pink Pantheress, then making her Met Gala debut before even releasing a full album. Her label 10K Projects is owned by Elliot Grange, the son of Lucian Grange, the most powerful man in music as CEO of Universal Music Group. That's not luck. That's leverage. And when fans noticed the speed of her ascent, the word industry plant flooded social media. Then there's Kid Laroi, one of the most debated cases. He was marketed as a struggling Australian kid from the streets, but his father was an engineer and music producer, and his mother ran a talent management company. Before he had a breakout single, he already had songs with Juice WRLD and multiple features with Justin Bieber, something that takes most artists a decade to earn. His image screamed self-made prodigy, but his connections said otherwise. The controversy around him proves a crucial point. When success feels unearned, fans question authenticity. And in Kid Laroi's case, they still can't agree whether he's talented, lucky, or manufactured. Doechii is another example of the Level 2 fast track. For years, she was an underground YouTuber and rising performer. Then suddenly she signed to TDE, Kendrick Lamar's label, and within months was being compared to legends performing at the BET Awards and winning Best New Artist. She even earned a Grammy nomination almost immediately after going mainstream. TDE claims to be independent, but they have deep ties to the major label system through partnerships with Universal, Sony, and Warner. Doechii is talented, but the rollout was so aggressive many didn't get the chance to discover her naturally. She went from, "Who is this?" to, "You must stan her overnight." Jack Harlow is the perfect case of the internet being weaponized. Before most people heard his name in real life, he was trending non-stop on TikTok. His song What's Poppin' was pushed into every feed, used in thousands of videos, and shoved into algorithmic playlists across Spotify and Apple Music. He landed a remix with DaBaby, Tory Lanez, and Lil Wayne before building a core fan base. Then came late-night TV award shows, brand deals, and massive radio play. Fans didn't grow with him, he was delivered to them. The rapid promotion felt less like discovery and more like programming. But it's not just American artists. Bad Bunny exploded globally in record time. After signing with Remus Entertainment, which had distribution deals with The Orchard by Sony, he went from SoundCloud features to collaborating with Drake, Cardi B, and J Balvin in less than 2 years. In 2022, he became the most streamed artist in the world for 3 consecutive years, something no English-speaking artist had done. While his talent is undeniable, the machinery behind him was enormous. Global partnerships, synchronized marketing across Latin America and the US, and heavy algorithmic support from Spotify and YouTube. Rosalía is another case that raised eyebrows. She released one experimental flamenco pop album, and suddenly the world treated her like the future of music. She appeared on magazine covers, performed at Coachella, collaborated with Travis Scott, The Weeknd, and Billie Eilish, and won 2 Latin Grammys and 1 Grammy almost instantly. Spanish-language artists rarely rise this fast without years of radio success. Yet Rosalía skipped the grind completely. Some hailed her a genius and innovation queen, while others criticized the industry for pushing her as the Latina face of global pop, despite limited cultural background in the genres she adopted. This leads to the uncomfortable racial double standard in Level 2. When black artists rise quickly, people scream industry plant or they didn't earn it. Ice Spice and Doechii faced immediate backlash. Yet when white or Latina artists blow up overnight like Jack Harlow, Rosalía, or even Billie Eilish, they're called fresh or visionary. Labels weaponize algorithms and money to force artists into the spotlight, but only certain races receive the benefit of the doubt. Fans can feel when they're being manipulated, and the obvious plant era has made one thing clear. People don't hate success. They hate being told who to love. Level 3. The Puppet Gimmick. Level 3. The Puppet. Gimmick is where the industry stops hiding its influence and starts redesigning artists from the inside out. At this stage, labels engineer everything: sound, image, accent, wardrobe, even cultural identity. Artists are no longer just musicians. They become characters written by marketing teams. The goal is to create a persona that sells, even if it means abandoning authenticity. These artists often start with raw talent or unique style, but once signed, the industry molds them into whatever generates the most revenue. Eventually, the line between the real person and the manufactured role disappears, leading to internal conflict and public backlash. Iggy Azalea is one of the clearest examples of a gimmick gone wrong. Born in Australia, she arrived in the US with a natural accent. But when she entered hip-hop, her label helped construct a southern black persona, complete with exaggerated accent, slang, and attitude. Major platforms rolled out the red carpet, big-budget music videos, radio play, and features with artists like T.I. and Charli XCX. At first, the act worked. She had multiple Billboard hits and even won Best Rap Album over actual rappers. But when people realized the identity was a performance, not culture, the backlash was brutal. She was labeled a culture vulture, and her career collapsed almost overnight. Sabrina Carpenter and Katy Perry both experienced identity overhauls. Sabrina started as a wholesome Disney talent, but after signing major deals, her image shifted to a more provocative pop star. Katy Perry's transformation was even more extreme. Her first album was Christian gospel under the name Katy Hudson. After being dropped, she re-emerged as Katy Perry, the colorful, quirky, sexy pop icon. Songs like I Kissed a Girl and California Girls were written to shock and trend. The industry didn't just change her sound, it rebuilt her entire personality to appeal to mainstream audiences. The irony. The more fun the image became, the less control she had over her own artistry. Tate McRae is a modern puppet in real time. She first went viral as a heartfelt bedroom singer-songwriter. Fans loved her raw, emotional performances. But when her label stepped in, everything shifted. Her music turned into high-energy pop. Her visuals became hyper-sexy, and her persona changed nearly overnight. Even dedicated fans were shocked. Who is this new Tate? The transformation was so sudden that it didn't feel like growth. It felt like programming. The label decided she would be a pop diva, and the rebrand forced her into a mold that didn't match the artist she once presented herself to be. Lady Gaga is the ultimate Level 3 case study. In the beginning, she was Stefani Germanotta, a talented pianist performing jazz in New York clubs. When Def Jam dropped her for being too normal, she made a calculated decision: become a spectacle. She studied Madonna, toned down her technical vocals, and focused on shock value. With producer Red One and support from Akon, she transformed into Lady Gaga, a fame-obsessed, fashion-forward, avant-garde monster. She wore meat dresses, set hairspray on fire, and lived inside performance art. It worked. She became a global icon. But years later, during the Joanne era, she tried returning to her true self. The public rejected it. They didn't want Stephanie. They only wanted the monster she created. Doja Cat might be the most fascinating puppet of the digital era. She reinvented herself at least 3 times, first as a weird meme girl with Moo, then as a playful pop rap star with Say So, and now as a dark, demonic, hypersexual figure in Paint the Town Red and Demons. Each era feels like a new character tailored to trends. Fans argue whether she's a genius or a puppet. Does she control the image, or does the label? Even she admits the industry pressures her to perform different identities to stay relevant. Her constant transformation shows how artists can lose stability when the industry demands reinvention over consistency. The Weeknd and Miley Cyrus prove that puppetry affects even established stars. The Weeknd began as a mysterious alternative R&B artist who hid his face and rejected the spotlight. But once labels got involved, he transitioned into a polished pop star with radio-friendly hits like Can't Feel My Face. Miley started as Disney's Hannah Montana, then rebranded into the Wild Bangers era, then tried a country revival, then a rock pivot. Each shift felt like an identity crisis. Instead of genuine artistic exploration, it felt like the industry testing different versions to see which one sells best. When artists keep changing not because they grow, but because they're told to, it becomes psychological warfare. Level 3 is dangerous because it asks artists to trade authenticity for success. They aren't just selling music, they're selling a persona. And when the facade cracks, the public feels betrayed. That's when the backlash hits hardest. Some artists adapt and survive. Others collapse under the pressure of playing a character 24/7. This stage reveals an ugly truth: the music industry doesn't just shape trends, it reshapes people. At the end of the day, we must ask ourselves a difficult question. Do we prefer artists who are truly themselves, or artists who can play the role we want to see perfectly? Level 4. The Nepo Baby. Level 4. The Nepo Baby exposes the most controversial truth in the music industry. Some artists don't climb the ladder, they're born at the top. These performers enter the game with powerful last names, industry parents, wealthy backgrounds, and access to producers and studios before they can even walk. While the public loves the from nothing to something narrative, Nepo babies skip the struggle entirely. They don't wait in lines, they don't hustle for studio time, and they don't beg executives for a chance. They grow up having dinner with label heads, tour backstage with legends, and meet producers as family friends. Their success isn't discovery, it's inheritance. Willow and Jaden Smith are the clearest examples. Before releasing any music, they were already Hollywood royalty. Their parents, Will and Jada, weren't just celebrities, they were power players with global influence. Willow dropped Whip My Hair at age 10 under Jay-Z's Roc Nation. It went platinum. Jaden starred in blockbuster films and then transitioned into music with features from Kanye West, Childish Gambino, and Tyler, the Creator. When Willow said, "I don't want to do music anymore," she simply stopped. When she wanted to come back, the door reopened instantly. That's Nepo privilege, the luxury to fail without consequences. Then there is Blue Ivy, the most controversial Nepo baby in music history. At just 9 years old, she won a Grammy for Brown Skin Girl with 0 solo discography. She has writing credits on Beyoncé's songs before reaching middle school. She performs at stadiums, appears in music videos, and is already a fashion icon without releasing one official single of her own. Is it unfair? Or is it destiny when your parents are Beyoncé and Jay-Z? Blue Ivy proves the ultimate point in Level 4 fame is not a journey, it's a birthright. Drake shocks many fans when labeled a Nepo baby, but the receipts are undeniable. His father, Dennis Graham, was a drummer for rock pioneer Jerry Lee Lewis. His uncle Larry Graham was the bassist for Sly and the Family Stone, one of the most influential funk groups ever. Another uncle played guitar for Al Green. Drake himself made $50,000 per year as a teenager on the TV show Degrassi. By the time he released his first mixtape, he had money, connections, and fame. He marketed started from the bottom, but the bottom was middle class with industry access. The real marketing was the illusion of struggle. Miley Cyrus is another prime example. As the daughter of country star Billy Ray Cyrus, she wasn't just connected, she was born into a brand. Disney built Hannah Montana around her, giving her the rare combo of acting platform and music career in one show. When she shifted into her wild bangers era, the media criticized her, but the industry still protected her. No matter how many controversies she created, she was never canceled, never blacklisted. Why? Because she wasn't just Miley, she was the product of a powerful legacy. Nepo babies don't get destroyed, they get rebranded. Selena Gomez and Zendaya followed a similar path. Both were Disney darlings with massive platforms before releasing music. Selena's mother was a stage performer in the entertainment industry, which helped her navigate auditions from childhood. Zendaya had connections with top agents and choreographers early on. When these women transitioned into pop music, they already had millions of fans, marketing teams, and label deals waiting. They didn't build fame from music, they transferred fame from television. In an industry where most artists beg for visibility, Nepo babies start with global exposure and a loyal audience. Even in Latin music, Nepo privilege exists. J Balvin is often seen as a self-made reggaeton superstar, but his family came from wealth in Colombia. He studied abroad, had access to international travel, and connected with producers that local artists couldn't reach. While others were fighting poverty and crime to get noticed, Balvin was networking globally. His image was urban, but his reality was privilege. This raises a deeper question: who gets to profit from a culture, the people born in the struggle or those with connections to monetize it? The harsh reality is that society treats Nepo babies differently based on race. When white or Latina artists are born into privilege, people call them icons, geniuses, or the future of music. But when black artists like Willow or Jaden get the same privileges, they are attacked as spoiled or not authentic. This reveals a painful truth. The music industry has a privilege hierarchy where wealth and whiteness protect artists from criticism. Nepo babies don't just inherit fame, they inherit forgiveness. But the biggest question remains: can an artist ever be truly authentic if they never had to struggle in the first place? Level 5, the superplant. Level 5. The superplant is the darkest and most extreme form of manufactured fame. At this level, the artist is no longer an individual, they are a full corporate product. Everything is controlled. The music they release, the clothes they wear, the interviews they give, the people they date, even their emotions. These artists don't write their own songs, don't make creative decisions, and don't own their image. Their contracts are designed to trap them, forcing them to work endlessly for the profit of labels and managers. Success is massive, but freedom is non-existent. The price of stardom becomes their identity, mental health, and humanity. Britney Spears is the ultimate case study of a superplant. She entered the Mickey Mouse Club at 11, signed to Jive Records at 15, and became the face of pop by 17. Her entire image, innocent yet sexy, was manufactured by executives. They dictated her voice style, choreography, music, video concepts, and even her public virginity narrative, forcing her to lie to appear pure. By 2008, she suffered a breakdown from relentless pressure. Instead of helping her heal, the industry put her under a conservatorship that lasted 13 years, giving her father legal control over her career, finances, relationships, and body. She released albums and toured the world while being declared unfit to make basic life decisions. She was profitable, so they kept her working. This system did not begin with Britney. It was perfected by Lou Pearlman, the mastermind behind NSYNC and Backstreet Boys. He handpicked every member, created their sound, engineered their image, and controlled their contracts. He even inserted himself as a sixth member on paper to steal millions from their earnings. Both groups eventually sued him after discovering he siphoned nearly all their profits. These boys weren't rising stars, they were manufactured assets. Their personalities were scripted, their friendships staged, and their music pre-written. Perlman didn't manage them, he owned them. But no industry has mastered the superplant model like K-pop. Idol trainees are recruited as young as 11 or 12 and placed in training dorms. They practice 14 to 16 hours a day studying singing, dancing, acting languages, and media etiquette. They are weighed daily, forced into diets, and monitored 24/7. Contracts can last up to 13 years, and if the group fails, idols are left in debt to the company. They are forbidden from dating, speaking freely, or showing unapproved emotions. Their entire identity is designed by the label. K-pop doesn't just produce music, it manufactures humans. Justin Bieber lived the Western version of this system. Discovered at age 13 and signed by Scooter Braun and Usher, he became a global phenomenon before high school. His schedule was controlled to the minute. Every haircut, outfit, and social media post was managed. When he showed signs of stress, the industry pumped him with more appearances, tours, and sponsorships. He later revealed he was depressed, addicted to drugs, and felt like a zoo animal. Fame didn't free him, it imprisoned him. The world judged his breakdowns without realizing that he never had the chance to grow up as a person, only as a product. Ariana Grande also experienced the superplant transformation. Starting as a Nickelodeon actress, she was rebranded by Scooter Braun into a pop powerhouse. Her image evolved from sweet girl to high-fashion diva, complete with signature ponytail and high notes. But behind the glam, she had little control. Songs were written for her. Marketing dictated her persona. Even her public relationships were strategic. After the Manchester bombing, she was pushed back on stage despite trauma. In interviews, she admits the pressure to constantly reinvent and perform leads to emotional exhaustion. The industry didn't just elevate her, it consumed her. BTS and Blackpink represent the most modern superplants on a global scale. Both groups went through brutal trainee systems, signed restrictive contracts, and became global icons under absolute corporate control. Their schedules are non-stop albums, world tours, TV shows, brand deals, live streams, fan events. Every word they say is monitored. Every move is choreographed. They are not just musicians. They are cinematic universes, fashion influencers, government ambassadors, and marketing tools. Some members have admitted they don't even own the rights to their own names. Their smiles are part of the performance. Level 5 reveals the cruelest truth of the music industry: fame without freedom is a cage. These artists have everything money, fans, awards, but no control over their lives. They are praised when profitable and discarded when broken. Trauma is ignored. Burnout is hidden. Identity is erased. The industry builds them to perfection, then destroys them when they can no longer perform. In the end, a painful question remains: is becoming the biggest star in the world worth it if you no longer belong to yourself? In the end, every level of the industry plant reveals a painful truth. Some artists are subtly guided, others are fully manufactured, but very few rise without strategic help. Labels control narratives, engineer personas, and even decide who the world is allowed to love. Fans think they're choosing their favorites, but most of the time those choices were planted long before the first song dropped. And while some artists try to stay authentic, the system rewards the polished product, not the raw soul. So here's the real question: Legends of Black Excellence. In 2025, is any artist truly organic? Or is everyone just a different version of a plant?